Welcome to the High Level Wife Podcast. This is a space for Christian wives who love God, want their marriage healed, and are done performing, fixing, striving, or trying to control their way to change. Here we're going to talk about marriage God's way through right order, surrender, heart posture, and spirit-led transformation. This is not self-help, it's discipleship. My name is Chelsey Holm, and my role is to help you move from awareness into obedience so real healing, wholeness, and restoration can take root. Let's begin. Welcome back to the High Level Wife Podcast. I'm Chelsey Holm, and we do Marriage God's Way here. And I am bringing something today that, oh man, this is probably gonna shake some trees, shake some foundations you've been standing on. Because recently I saw this post. And honestly, I immediately thought, nope, I refuse to come into agreement with that. And the post said that intimacy after infidelity will never be the same. And I do understand why people say that because, having experienced infidelity in our marriage, and I understand that betrayal hurts deeply. It breaks trust. Safety disappears and bodies remember that crap, right? And hearts protect. Our brains want to keep us protected. But here's what I refuse to believe. I refuse to believe that God's design for intimacy is permanently defeated. Why? We walk in the finished work of the cross. We are new creations. The old has passed away and the new has come. So I believe in a God, the only God who is able to restore twofold to better than was before what the enemy meant for evil and harm. Look at Job, right? God said, have you considered my servant Job? And Satan attacked him with God's permission. Why? Why? Right? There was so much taken, stolen, destroyed. But God restored it twofold. When Job recognized and bowed in humble adoration and awe of the Creator. Hey, scripture tells us, this is just one example, but scripture tells us over and over that God restores, God rebuilds, God renews, God redeems, God brings life to dead things. Joel 2 says, I will restore the years the locusts have eaten. This is one of my favorite verses because it applies to marriage. Now, listen carefully. What I'm not saying is that trust instantly returns or that safety instantly returns or intimacy is forced. Let me tell you, I spent a lot of years doing that and no one ever gained anything from that. Okay. It also doesn't mean that openness is automatic. We have systems that we are rewiring. We have nervous systems we are regulating. We have patterns that we're disrupting. Okay. We have thoughts that have to be taken captive daily to Christ. But what I am saying is do not make an agreement with hopelessness. And maybe you have. Maybe you have come into agreement with this, that our marriage will never be the same or that our intimacy will never be the same. And we can't come into agreement with these things because then we give the enemy a foothold. And we don't want to do that. We have to reframe intimacy because intimacy was God's design, not ours, which means he probably understands how to restore what he created. Imagine that, right? He knows how to do a system reset. He knows how to bring healing. Many women secretly pray that God restore my marriage, but they avoid praying, teach me how to be open again, because openness feels dangerous and softness feels dangerous and receiving feels dangerous. So this is where they start forcing intimacy at their expense. And so they disassociate or disconnect, right? And nobody wants that. So what if instead we made this powerful prayer shift to, Lord, teach me to delight in my husband again. Teach me how to receive safely. Teach me how to become soft where I've become hard. Teach me to enjoy what fear taught me to avoid. Here's the important truth that sometimes restoration looks like small things first, holding hands, laughing again, enjoying conversation, feeling safe, sitting close, learning to touch again or learning to be touched again. I've shared in the past that my nervous system, my body remembered. And anytime my husband would touch me, I would immediately recoil without thinking about it. And I would be like, what is going on? Well, it was an area that God was revealing to me that He wanted to heal. It was an area that He was exposing where I needed to fully surrender to His work in and through me. Healing is often repeated surrender, it's repeated trust, it's repeated submission to God, it's repeated choosing. So maybe intimacy looks different after betrayal. Maybe healing changes you. Maybe wisdom changes you. But different does not automatically mean worse. And in fact, I would challenge you that it could be even better when you allow God to do what only He can do. And it's going to blow your mind. And it's that testimony He's developing in you that He is going to deploy. And many are going to be saved because of it. So here's a final challenge for you. Ask yourself, have I made agreement with hopelessness or fear or permanent brokenness? Or have I left room for God? Right? Have you left room for the but God? The enemy loves to whisper that this can never be destroyed. It's too broken. You're too hurt. There's too much betrayal, too much hurt. But restoration has always been God's specialty. Go read the Old Testament. I cannot emphasize that enough, that the Old Testament is so important because we see God's character. We see His heart on display. We see that His specialty is restoration. And maybe today the first prayer isn't God fix this. Maybe it's God help me believe you still can. I'll see you on the next episode.
If this episode stirred something in you, but high level wife feels like too big of a step right now, I want you to hear this clearly. You don't have to jump ahead to honor what God is doing. I created a short guided experience called From Awareness to Surrender for women who aren't ready for ongoing support but know they can't stay where they are. It includes 3 short teachings, a guided exercise, and a prayer I recorded over you. It's going to help you move from awareness into real response. You'll find the link in the show notes. And if you're not ready even for that, don't rush past this moment. Sit with God and ask Him what obedience looks like next.